I think you're rapidly getting into the list of a really good esports villain. Do you think that's true? In every great story comes...
I'm Spider-Man.
But also, in this story, the antagonist becomes the main character, and we'll soon figure out why having a villain arc is so important in esports. Let's be real, people love villain arcs. Whether you love them or you hate them as a player or person, one thing is for sure, they definitely make things very interesting. But what makes a great villain?
You guys are f***ing bums. You played a whole series and you still choke. Bunch of shit things, dog. God.
Number 1, unprovoked trash talking. They're basically creating a disturbance in the force, Luke. They just want a little bit of chaos. And then they start making a divide. Second, we need a healthy villain arc. What does this mean? Yes, trash talking in-game, you're good. Everything has to stay within the game. Starting to attack people in their personal life that doesn't have anything to do with the game is a huge no-no, and we do not condone that in this video, in this channel. We don't like you. Number 3, they have to actually be good. The more trash you talk, the more that you have to be good, because you need to back it up. You have to be credible. You're just a clown if you can't actually back up your trash talking. Number 4, lastly, a good villain will have people rooting for them too. Just think about the greatest baddies in movies and TV shows where you actually start rooting for them. That is something that we need here for the villain arc in esports.
I think this guy talks a lot, and it's about time for him to learn some respect.
Okay, so why do we need a villain arc in esports? We need to question the status quo and disrupt the mundane, because things can just be boring, as frank as that. Just think of your favorite TV show, video game, movie. There will always be an antagonist that will make life hard, but ultimately makes for growth and excitement. Villain arcs frequently give a fascinating narrative that challenges traditional storytelling techniques. Just look at wrestling. They have mastered the art of heroes and anti-heroes. They pay the same amount of attention on the opposing ends.
Weighing in at 245 pounds, Randy Orton.
This creates rivalries and will make the story much more interesting to enhance competition. As a pro player, you would want to have that motivation to beat them, and as a watcher, you want to see them lose. Adversely, depending on how good the villain actually is in their story, some people start rooting for the villain, kind of like what we mentioned a while ago. It humanizes them and makes them even more complex. Not everything is black and white, and it makes the story more intriguing. Being the villain is something that most people don't want to be, but definitely is a spectacle for people to watch.
Does this actually fuel the fire on this team? How do you handle such negative energy from a crowd?
Oh, 100%. I mean, Minnesota's weak, bro. I've seen so much worse. This is weak.
Alright, we already know that in PC and in console and fighting games, they already have that drama going on. Villain, the hero, so many rich storylines. The thing is though, do we need it here in mobile? Because a lot of people are thinking maybe it's too toxic, but in a way, I think we do. Lately, mobile gaming hasn't had that polarizing story with a clear villain for a compelling storyline. In Mobile Legends Bang Bang, they usually have rivalries between orgs and even countries, so it's pretty zoomed out compared to COD or StarCraft, where at the top of your head, the title villain brings up a few names. But things are picking up in the FPS scene in Call of Duty Mobile, as it has now crowned its king of trash talking, Vig from Luminosity Gaming. Famously known for saying this line,
"And that just proves that West is the best and East is ass."
Played everywhere in social media and throwing shade to a lot of teams during the streams, especially the Indian teams. This prompted the entire region to use that as gas to beat down the Western team, with an underdog team like Godlike from India, who was the bottom placing team, to beat Luminosity because of what he said, and basically got a taste of his own medicine.
East is best, West is ass! Let's go! Let's go!
As much as you'd want to pray for his downfall, his actions, and the aftermath of everything that happened definitely made the story more interesting, and hence the viewership broke records. Does Vague meet the criteria of being an esports baddie? Well, we're gonna find out as we are gonna talk to the guy himself, and let's see if we're gonna be checking some boxes. Hello, Vague. Let me put you up here for a sec. Everyone knows that you basically trash talk all the Indian teams, but do you also trash talk the top teams?
I didn't just target the teams in the region or the teams that I personally think were under me. I also targeted the teams that were even better, or if not the best teams in the world, one of them being Wolves. Not only are they the #1 Chinese team in CODM, they were also the world champions. It sucks that we didn't have the chance to face them because I know both of our teams were looking forward to facing them, and it sucks. To answer that question, I don't just target the low tier teams. I definitely do target the high tier teams too.
What did you feel about that loss up against Godlike?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't pissed or upset after the loss that we had against Godlike. I feel like in order to be a true competitor, a loss like that would obviously cause some sort of feelings, especially if you're super passionate about the game and always winning. I'm not trying to sound like a freak, but that event was actually the very first event, or like, I guess, serious major that I lost. Everything before that, I'd constantly win. I won like majority, if not all of the Mobile Mayhems, stage 3, stage 4s, even like stage 5, which is the championship last year. Whenever you have that kind of profile, especially like the other players on our team, like Marshy, Tech, Ban, Envy, Washi, whatever, losing isn't really a feeling that I got to experience up until that day. I may sound like an egotistical but it is what it is. I can't really say anything about it. But I guess it's also a good thing because of the fact that it kind of gives me the opportunity to come back stronger, and if not better. I'll give props to Godlike because their teamwork was definitely better than ours. But you know, they were just a better team at the end of the day. Hopefully we win every other event that comes in towards the future.
So you said that you were gonna keep trolling in that World Championship after video that you did. Is that true?
So to keep this one short and simple as well, there was no lie to that whatsoever. I'm definitely going to keep trolling as years go by for this year's championship. At least we don't know how far or how long I'm going to be continuing to play this game, but I think it's a funny thing to continue doing. And on top of that, everybody always like already knows me as like some sort of troll and like the main person to like around with people. So I think stopping that completely and like changing up my whole personality is going to be kind of odd. Hopefully I don't eat my words this time, and I can back it up by winning any other future international events that come our way.
All right, so do you think that it is important to have a quote-unquote villain in esports?
Yeah, I do think that having an antagonist in esports is a big thing for not only CODM, but for every other game out there. And the reason being is because if you don't have a person or like a group that is seen as like the enemy or like the rivals or everyone else in the game, I don't think watching esports would be as exciting as it is. As time goes on, I do hope that esports in general doesn't go soft to the point where like shooting bodies or teabagging is seen as something bad.
All right, they're gonna start shooting bodies kind of heavy now.
Yeah, he's gonna be unloading full
This
bags.
entire, yeah.
Bag shooting bodies.
Already?
Yeah, he's shooting bodies.
Shoot bodies.
He's expecting the box.
Shoot
Oh, he's gonna
bodies.
shoot.
Oh!
Yeah!
What his intention was in shooting the body,
yeah.
Tech knows that he shot his body. Yeah. So Tech's the one that's gonna take it personally, and that's the last person you want to piss off.
Yeah.
Makes the match more fun though.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's good for us.
I just hope that never happens with like certain CODM events, because if that does, then it's kind of sucky because I like shooting bodies.
Okay, so for the last question, do you think you gained more fans after this year's World Championship, and what do you have to say to them?
So to be completely honest with you, I'd say that I did gain a good amount of fans after stage 5, but if we were to compare the ratio from the good fans that I gained compared to the bad fans that I gained right after the loss, I'd say that the ratio from the bad fans are a lot higher, and it's for good reason. I went to go check Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff the same day that we lost, and it was crazy. Like my Instagram comments were blowing up, my Twitter comments were blowing up, and everything. There were definitely a lot more talk than anything else. Like, you know, like I said, if you were to talk, you gotta expect to get it back, or like have it said back to you and not throw a fuss about it. So I'm not throwing a fuss about it. It is what it is. You know, it just drives us to be better players than a better team going to the next year's championship. So hopefully we'll just use that to drive us to become better players and a better team for sure. And to everybody else who is watching this interview, shout out to beefmami for, you know, giving me these questions to have an opportunity to talk to you guys about this. And to everybody else who is supporting us during the championship, shout out to you guys. Hopefully we can take it home for you guys this year, just so we can continue saying the that we say. Props to everyone who competed. This year will definitely be different. Hopefully I don't regret saying this a year from now. But yeah, thank you again for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Yeah.
We keep the respect for all types of players here, and we need to make sure not to take the comments too far. The thing is, the people who actually are in the scene themselves know that it's just an in-game rivalry. I've talked to multiple pro players, and they're actually just friends in real life, but definitely rivals in-game. But hey, at the very end, it's just a game.